Hi, I'm Justin St. Peter, and I'm here to tell you why athletes can be heroes. It goes back to this quote by Arnold Schwarzenegger. As a kid, I always idolized the winning athletes. It's one thing to idolize the heroes. It's quite another to visualize yourself in their place. When I saw great people, I said to myself, I can be there. It goes back to show you that millions of kids around the world look at people like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like athletes that are stars, and think they can be there and inspired that way. For me, that was Mark Martin. I would run around the house yelling, I want to be Mark and driving the Daytona 500 as a 2-year-old. I have countless memorabilia from him and still think of himself as a hero to me this day. Ever since, I've been talking about sports. I've been living, eating, breathing, sleeping sports. And I hope one day to have a career in that field. I believe athletes can be heroes for 3 reasons. 1, because they can become cultural icons, like being some of the best players in their sport. 2, because they can do charitable donations and really make a difference around the world. And 3, because even though the media and many other people around the world are focused on athletes who make mistakes, there are millions around the world that are doing the right thing. So to start, we talk about some of the best players in their sports. I'm pretty sure everybody in the state of Wisconsin knows that the number 4 on the bottom of the screen is Brett Favre. He's a Packers legend. After being 1 year in the league, he was traded here and has become the starter ever since. He's won 3 NFL MVPs, lost 1 Super Bowl, won another, overcame the painkiller addiction, but we still think of him as a hero to this day for his personality on and off the field, and will be a first ballot Hall of Famer this year. LeBron James. He was a poor kid that grew up in the slums of Akron. After working through basketball throughout his entire life, he became the #1 pick in the 2003 NBA draft. He was known as a savior of the Cavaliers. Lost a couple NBA finals, was an MVP, and left the Cavs to go to the Miami Heat and win 2 championships. People burned his jersey, they cursed his name. He came back to the Cavaliers and beat their 52-year title drought this past year. That's what a hero is to the city, and when he can come back and finish that title drought. There's also people that aren't as big of stars that are still heroes in many people's eyes. And that's through charities and donations and volunteer hours. The NFL started a huge program that was the Man of the Year in the 1970s, where they would recognize the athletes that did the most contributions to charities and donations and stuff across the world. When Walter Payton, a former Chicago Bears running back and NFL Hall of Famer, died in 1999, they renamed it the Walter Payton Hall of Fame Man of the Year Award because of the stuff that he did on and off the field. Each year, every NFL team nominates 1 player from their team, and they're given $5,000 to the charity of their choice for being the team's honoree. After an extensive voting process, there's 3 people that are picked from around those 32 volunteers, or 32 players, and are given $6,000 that are then allocated to their charities. And after another voting process, the winner is given $50,000 to the charities and is nominated and talked about all around the world. Last year was Anquan Bolden, who donated $1 million of his money to the burn victims and the people that lost their houses from the California fires, and is still the chairman of 2 other charities. The NBA does their own thing that's called the NBA Cares program, which was started in 2005. They donated over $270 million to charities around the world. They have 3.5 million hours of service from players and coaches and people just helping out in any way they possibly can. And they've given 995 safe places to people who didn't have homes around the world and the country, and they've done marketing efforts to get people to play basketball everywhere. Unfortunately, there still are a lot of bad incidents that get caught by the media and get replayed over and over and over again. Ray Rice is one of them. It was a very ugly domestic violence issue a few years ago when he was the Baltimore Ravens running back. He was subsequently banned from the NFL and was really talked about as one of the biggest backstains for the NFL and its partners. Lance Armstrong was another. He was a cyclist and was one of the best in the sport before getting testicular cancer, coming back from it and winning 7 straight Tour de France's, which were a month-long bike journey where they would bike over 100 miles a day, and it was the biggest thing in their sport. He won 7 straight before being caught in a doping scandal and finding out to be a liar and a cheat and many other things, and he was disgraced. But it all comes back to this one author's quote. "One bad apple may spoil a bunch, but people aren't apples. Don't let the poor choices of one person spoil the way you feel about all people. You'll soon find out that there are a lot of really awesome apples out there." And it goes back to saying that for the millions of athletes that do good things, many of the press and the media focus on the athletes that do the wrong thing. And they can really spoil the reputation of many around the world. So in conclusion, Ray Rice, Lance Armstrong, and other athletes like them, they put a very bad mark on them. But many athletes do great work through inspiring millions and being able to donate and share to charities around the world. So I encourage you all to go out and find one and really realize that they are heroes in their own way.
Rory, what's going on?
I talk way too fast.